So if you're looking to play a dragon deck in June 2024, you kind of have two choices. You can either play the cool, underrepresented because everyone's sick of the deck for 5 years, Dragon Link, or you can play the lame and unfun Tempai Dragons, which are a lot newer, but you're also going to get called a lot of names online because people call it a helmet deck and hate losing to decks that take no skill. Be that as you will. I'm going to assume out of this crossroad, you're going to pick Dragon Link. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at two different topping lists for Dragon Link that have topped recent WCQs or Nationals. And we'll give my thoughts. And then at the end, I'm going to show you the list that I've been playing at locals recently win a 4-round locals, like XO. So let's get into it. So this one is a 100-person regional in Hungary. It was piloted by Zoltan Kolomix. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I know not, but I apologize. So let's get into the list. So most of the stuff I see here is pretty standard. This is like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. I see the 14 non-engine slots, playing 45 main deck. Like, that's pretty standard. Caliber's interesting but I guess they're playing like a larger synchro package. Like I see 4 synchros in their extra deck. You have like a pretty small Bystial package. I'm surprised you would play Baldrake over like the 3rd Sarnier in this case. But, I mean, I guess it's an interruption. Like if you Surge Jurisworm off Magnemite, you can summon Baldrake off Seals, and then that's a potential extra interruption right there. As well, like pretty standard hand trap lineup. You have your Triple Ash, your Triple Veil, your Triple Nib, Triple Imperm. Like, seems pretty well equipped for what you want to do this format, especially to Snake Eye. Double Regain's interesting. I guess like if you draw it, it's not terrible if you draw it like with any combination of like a Lubellion, any Bystial, like a safer red, like Black Metal Dragon, Red Eyes, like plenty of ways to trigger the regain turn 1. So drawing's not the worst thing, especially if you don't have access to Lubellion. Or kind of like if you already have it, your lines become a little different. You're not as like reliant on Lubellion like getting to the field or resolving it all, which can be kind of nice. Extra deck. I mentioned the Synchro Patch before, but first I want to focus Nightmare Unicorn. I'm assuming this entirely for budget reasons. So, like, if you're going to a regional or local especially, like, don't feel like you have to shell out for SP Little Knight. I would say, like, it's probably going to be in the Megatins, so just wait till then. But, like, if you're going to a YCS or, like, Nationals, maybe spring for it. But other than that, you should be fine. The rest seems pretty standard. Draco Berserker's interesting. I guess it's like your Borload Savage Dark Synchro replacement. It works for what it is. Chen Ying's interesting. I'm not a fan of Chen Ying. I think it's too reliant on one of your Bystials resolving, and they might not. And you might just trigger in opportune times. I think you have enough between like IP, Druid Worm, like everything else. Like you have enough interaction that Chen Ying isn't really adding that much. Dispatter is the best card ever, so we don't disrespect Dispatter around here, of course. And then a Tomb, like, with smaller Bystial count, I don't know, like, how often a Tomb's going to come up. Like, it's either you play, like, a huge Bystial count, or you play the Red Eyes Meteor, like the one from Duelist Nexus. Because then, otherwise, I don't think the Tomb lines are going to come up very often. But at the same time, like, you have so much extra deck space now that, like, Baron and Borload Savage are dead on the latest Forbidden Limited list. I think you're fine. What I'm a little surprised about is that I don't see a like the Red Dragon Archfiend to like Scarlight for time, but who knows? Maybe they're just tired of swapping sleeves if they had it in their side deck. Looking at their side deck, I hate the 1-ups. I hate it so much. I don't think it's fantastic. I think they should commit to like 2 and 2 if they're gonna play hand traps like that. But who knows? Maybe it worked out for them. Maybe they drew the Moonlit Chill exactly when required. Like, it kind of makes me think like there's a crossout in this list, and I don't see one. So, and then Triple Phantasme. Phantasme's not bad. I mean, it comes up in most matchups, I'm sure, but I don't know if you want to play 3. Talon's Change Heart. Like, Change Heart's really good this format. Like, you just like there's no spell trap negates. Like, the closest thing to it is Yubel with Verudris, but No, like, you can get away with, like, a lot. Like, I think the steel spells are, like, kind of slept on right now. And I think they're gonna get bigger, like, especially leading into the NAWCQ. Cosmic Cyclone's pretty standard for spell trap removal. Like, there's Runic Stun. You need it. I would personally make room for Feather Duster, but that's just me. And then Droplet. Droplet's great. There's cards like Thunder Dragon Colossus that just poke up, especially in the early rounds of these types of events. So you do need something to be able to slot that more than just your imperms. So let's move on to the second list. So this one is from the Austria National Championship, piloted by Leon Jesenek. Again, apologize for pronunciations if I'm pronouncing things wrong. So this list, this one I found a lot more interesting, and I think I like it a lot more. One, because, like, especially for somebody who's playing Dragon Link for a while, I find it really hard sometimes to trim the fat, and this is the deck that trims the fat. Like, we're at 42 cards, and, like, there's some cards that you might see missing that you're like, oh, we're not playing Levianeer, and it's like, if you watch the video, and it is in the YGO Pro Deck page, I recommend you watch it. He's got some good explanations, and he's got an even shinier Dragon Link deck than I do. I think it's pretty good. But yeah, like, you have the full Bystial count. Like, you're playing 13 Bystials, which is insane. Like, I don't know if I've seen, like, a deck with competitive success with this much, but, like, the theory's there. I get it. Like, it's one of those things that you side out of them for, like, relevant hand traps in a matchup like Snake Eyes, but especially depending on the event you're going to, you'll probably expect to face, like, you won't face Snake Eyes necessarily, depending if it's just, like, a regional level, because, you know, cost is a bit prohibitive, especially depending on your local community. So I think this is pretty good design, because a lot of those not Snake Eye decks are darker light. Like, you have Voiceless Voice, you have Melodious. The only one really that isn't covered with the Bystials is Tempai, but Tempai is its own beast, so you have to sort of play around, like, in its own way. Like, and, like, Ash Blossom's, like, pretty much the only cover you have here. But then, yeah, looking at the extra deck, just Dispatter and Chaos Angel for synchros, like, I get it. It's, like, Tracers put in the work by putting 2 bodies on the board. It's not, like, it being a tuner is literally just for Dispatter. Like, there are very little situations where you're summoning Recharger and want to make a Synchro 8. Because Recharger's the best, like, non-Tracer rocket because of its effect and synergy with Striker Dragon, so I don't think you need to be, like, too railroaded into playing a Synchro 8. Then looking at the rest, you have Chaos Angel, makes sense. You have the Link ones. You have Double Seal, which is definitely interesting. It's sometimes a little too unreliable to get the regained or the Chaos Space to put the seals back. So I do understand why you want to play a second one. And then everything else, the only, like, funky thing I'd say is Verudrus, which this is definitely just taking advantage of the fact that you have so much extra X space and it literally does not matter, like, what that 15 slot is. Like, Typhon's not very good right now, especially with things like Promethean Princess in the format. So, like, what else would you play in this slot? And then the Verudrus, like, you might be wondering, like, how do you make that? And it's literally just Dispatter, bring back Red Eye's Darkness Metal, overlay. Which you might be like, well, you're like, why would you do that? Dispatter's a monster negate or monster destruction. Well, this is an Omni negate that also can destroy. And it can destroy a different card than what's activating, which is really cool. But also, if you detach a Dispatter for it, then you just bring back a regained, and then you have a monster negate again. That also plays you things like Dark Ruler no more, because it's not on the field. And then going through the side deck, like Ogre, yeah, Voiceless Voice, Tempai, it's pretty good. Nibiru, Snake Eye, of course, DD Crow, Snake Eye, Voiceless Voice. The one Phantasme, which it's not bad. Especially decks like Snake Eye, they're going to link to try and break your board, so this is more like the Magnemite Surge, or if, like, you draw it, you draw it. One Harpies, like, I guess, depending on meta, like, you're not gonna need Spell Trap removal. It's really just for Runic Stun, right? So, as long as you gamble, you're not gonna find Runic Stun, you should be fine. Call by the Grave, you know, it's a 1 for a reason. Or it's at 1 for a reason. Triple Skill Drain. This card, fantastic. Like, I think the big thing with Skill Drain is it stops Tempai in its tracks. Like, and then you have the advantage versus Tempai that you have all these Bystials that are big bodies, and then, like, how are they going to get over that? Like, they have to commit so much resources, but then if they do, Seal's bounce works under skill drain because it tributes for cost, and then it's resolving like when it's not on the field, so it's not affected by skill drain. And then the one on Brand of Beast, so I guess that's the other spell trap removal. So no, that's both the list, and then once I show you mine, you'll sort of see which one I got inspiration from. All right, to quickly go over my Dragon Link build, I know the video is already over 10 minutes, so I won't take too long explaining any of the choices because I, again, mostly base it off of Leon's list. So it's the 3 Lubellions, 1 Mag, triple Juris, triple Sarnier, double Baldrake. I cut it to 2 because I felt having the 10 Bystials was too much. I think 9 is a nice round number where you're not drawing into multiples of the same names quite as much. And as well, if I were to draw multiples like Baldrake's, I think the worst one. Then Rocket Package is pretty simple. It's just double Tracer, 1 Recharger, 1 Absorber. Then we have the triple Black Metal, 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal. Then triple Safer, White Dragon, Black Dragon. No Levianeer, similar to Leon's list. It's kind of clunky. It's a turn 3 card. And yes, you can search off Magnamut, but it just feels so bad to draw. And you want to like cut down and make sure like you have more good draws in your deck than not, because I already draw both the field spells enough times. Then for last of the monster count, 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Effect Veiler. Kind of agree with the 9 hand trap lineup because you can always side into more. And then just if you can win those game 2 and game 3, then it didn't really matter. Spell cards, not that many. Triple Quick Launch, both the field spells, Chaos Space, Brand of Regained. And then the last 3 cards rounding out this 41 card list, triple Imperm, which of course we all know Imperm's the best hand trap in the format because it doesn't turn on talents. It stops critical cards like D-Bell Star and Snake Eye Ash, as well as you can just set it, and it's got a funky other effect with the columns, so wouldn't trade it for the world. Then extra deck, pretty quick. It's the exact same. So it's the Striker, the Pisty, Double Seal, Romulus, IP, SP, Dark, Triple Burst, Access Code Borland, and then you got Dispatter, Chaos Angel, Atomb, and Verudrus. I think last time I played this at locals, I went to Verudrus like once and then got punished by Nib trying to go into it, but at the same time, I still won both those matches, so it's pretty good. Then the side deck, very similar as well, but with 1 key change. So we're still playing the triple Ogre, the triple Nib, double DD Crow, and the Phantasme. And we still have the Feather Duster and the Culprit Grave. The one place where we made a change, I'm only playing 2 skill drain, playing 1 anti-spell with the Brand of Beast. So this is because I think players are a little afraid to play limited cards like anti-spell or Rivalry Warlords or any of these other cards that like you flip them and you win. But yes, skill drain's at 3, but I think anti-spell is better at hitting more matchups. Like good against Tenpai and Snake Eye, good against pretty much everything. So that's why we made the swap to have this here instead of the 3rd. I haven't drawn into it, but I'm sure when I do, it's going to be a free win, especially against decks like Voiceless Voice. So that's all I have for the video today. If you like Dragon Link and you like content related to it, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll be sure to at least try to upload some Dragon Link videos, even though it's like not the deck that I'm prepping for the NAWCQ, but I'll still try and fit it in where I can.